It's been a couple holidays since we last talked, and I'm coming here uh, to let y'all know one verse that's been on my mind in my absence, and I'll kind of update you all on what I've been doing. So, those of you who subscribe to the channel, y'all know that my father passed away last year, and his 1 year anniversary was November 13th. So, how many days ago was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 17 days ago, my dad passed away. And I told him that my voice was going to help my family out and get us to where we need to be. You know, we are firm believers in God, and we love him so much. And I want to just kind of tell you all what I've been thinking about and what I've been doing as well, because it's important for y'all to know what's going on. Number one, if you notice, it's backwards, so it'd be right here. So new logo, name is Bobble Up Podcast. Reason why I changed it is because I just feel like Jonversations, you really had no idea that the podcast was about Jesus. And it was honestly quite confusing. It was a clever name, but it was pretty confusing. So, Bobble Up Podcast. Subscribe, like, do all those things. I'm a small YouTube channel, so it helps out when you guys engage and stuff like that. So that's much appreciated. Number two is I fell in love with cycling, like really bad. And cycling is, I could say confidently, bringing me a lot closer to God, which is great. I'm training to do big things with it. I'll just say that. I started in June, and I fell in love with it, and I've done some wild stuff so far. Literally yesterday, I rode 100 miles, which was pretty crazy, and I had to call on God's strength more than 5 times to get me through that. If you want to know what it felt like to do 100 miles on a bike for riding for less than a year, it felt like you did a wall sit for 6 hours straight. That's what it felt like. It felt like doing a wall sit for 6 hours straight and not being able to stop. So there's that. Fell in love with cycling. If y'all want to know more about that, comment below and ask whatever you want to know about. And the last thing is I've been doing a lot of self-thought, prayer, just seeking wisdom from God. Because I think a lot of times, like when we pray, we ask for things. But you got to remember, like Solomon asked for just wisdom, and God gave him a bunch of stuff, which he wasn't expecting at all. And I think we forget that we get to ask God for wisdom first before we ask for the thing, because that thing might not be a part of the timeline right then and there. So it's like we over-fixate as Christians on the item or the girl or the job or whatever it is, and we forget to ask for patience during that. We forget to ask for strength, perseverance, and wisdom, and like, God, help us see this through your lens. So the journey isn't so harsh. And I've been asking for wisdom and patience, and it just the constant wrestle of trying to like make it is insane. And you see so many people out there making it, and it's like I just don't have what it takes. And I realize that I fuel off of like good job, John, or like I guess words of affirmation, I guess you could say, like for like a channel like this, or just trying to do something like this, and I feed off of that. Um, and I think the reactions haven't been as loud as I expect them to be, which made me not be consistent. And the last time I posted was, let me see. The last time I posted was hold please. The last time I posted was July. It's about to be December tomorrow. August, September, October, November. 4 months went by of constantly expecting to make it without putting in any work. This might be a little weird, but I sat in the shower, or maybe I stood in the shower, and I thought about this whole YouTube thing, and I was like, what's stopping me from doing this? And it was the expectation of the world and the reaction of the world to validate what I am doing is good. And that's not true at all. The problem with myself and other Christians and even non-believers is we constantly have a chase for this for this validation or this milestone of reaching a certain height or getting a certain status, because social media is feeding us with what it is that we want, making it seem like it's very close, and not showing us any of the back end work that this person has to do. And I want to talk about one person in particular. And his name is Kai Cenat. He just finished his Mafia-thon. It would be today. And I like Kai Cenat. He's very funny. I love him. But up until recently, or as long as I can recall, is he has been very vocal about his faith and prayer, and his Trini mom coming on praying about people trying to, take her son down with the whole Mad Max thing, and that was crazy. And I want to take my hat off to Kai Cenat, because he started YouTube a long time ago and went to college and was doing other stuff and still making videos, and then he went to Twitch but if I were to imagine, he's had many days where it wasn't cutting it. Like the content creation thing wasn't doing it. And I imagine that there were days where he prayed a lot and asked God for guidance and maybe even wisdom. And on top of that, he's been so consistent that it was almost inevitable for him not to reach millions of people, which he is. He's the most streamed person on the planet. And that gives me hope. It gives me hope, and it reminds me of a particular Bible verse. And that Bible verse is Colossians 3:23. Let me pull it up on my phone. The Bible verse is Colossians 3:23. And the verse says, "Work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. Remember that the Lord will give you an inheritance as your reward, and that the master you are serving is Christ." Kai said something specific that's been like pinging around in my head the past month. And what he said was, you can do anything you want as long as you put and keep God first. And it's hard to understand what that looks like. Like, what does putting God first look like? And I thought to myself, what I thought it was is having no expectation to become viral, to become rich, famous, well known to the world, most streamed person in the world. I don't think Kai was expecting that when he was doing push-ups in his house in New York and people were picking on him for rats running around his house or in his room. I don't think Kai had the expectation of that. I think he may have had big dreams. But dreams and expectation is different. And I want to start and close off with, and this is in any facet, work, your creativity, like whatever it is you're trying to build or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. The world is programmed to make you think that things are very close and don't tell you the truth on how far they really are. The world is really good at making things look possible. Really good and really convincing. Because I have failed at this YouTube thing like 3 times. So I want you all to take this. Addressing the pain is get rid of your expectation. Get rid of this genie in a bottle Jesus that the world thinks he is. And remember when you pray who you're actually talking to. Like, the dude got on the cross and died for us. Like, what friend do you know would do that? What friend do you know that would do that? The pain is the expectation, the instant gratification that is subconsciously buzzing around in our head and on our phones, like physically on our phones. Every swipe you take, it's there. And you've got to get rid of that and stop working for the validation of the world, because the world will spit you up and chew you out. People, like, just like Kai, like, people will come after you. People will try to do wild stuff on your stream, like hang themselves on their stream, even though it was supposedly a prank. And work first for God and through God, and let him handle the rest. Pray for patience. Pray for understanding. Pray for perseverance. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Each time he said, "My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. So now I am glad to boast about my weakness, so that the power of Christ can work through me." That's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insults, hardships, persecutions, and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Work for God. And realize that when you don't want to post, or you don't want to show up, and when you're weak, and when you feel the weight of the world on you, my power works best in weakness, God said. I don't know if you've been feeling like this, but I have. It's been 4 months. And I want to continue to do this, but I've got to work for God first. That's the ticket. Nothing else will keep me consistent. Like, nothing else will make me want to make videos and get 2 views on it. Like, just that immediate downfall and like depressive look on the numbers. I know people say don't look at the numbers, but I mean, they're right there on the screen. And work for God first. So if you can relate to this, comment your weaknesses. Be vulnerable. Like, comment just like why you haven't shown up. We're all in this together. See y'all next time.